anybody wants a copy. And let me share my screen and we'll jump in and get things rolling here. Can everybody see this? Boom.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. All right, so couple of questions. I just want to get to know my audience a little bit, see who, a little bit about you guys. First of all, who's your manager? Second, what do you do for work? And then third, what is your OMG stands for one main goal? What is your one main purpose that you want to accomplish by being here? No one gets in the life insurance field just because it's fun. There's a reason. So, Rose, why don't you walk me through these questions real quick, and then we'll go to Terrell.
Okay,
Terrell.
so oh, am I muted? Nope. Okay.
You're unmuted.
Okay. So my manager, we talked about this already, Mark Munson.
Okay. Good guy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have called him up because it goes down my main goal and everything like that. But I am currently a project coordinator with a consulting firm here in Nashville. And it kind of leads me to my one main goal is start off slow. I told Mark and Lois that I really need to supplement my income by $500 a month, and that's it. And I thought that this might be an avenue to look at because I saw how Mark started off part-time and he's killing it. To the point that he can go full time. And that, I think eventually I would, if it's something that I like, right now I like to ask everything that I've dealt with so far and talking with Mark and talking with Greg and everything that I've seen and the trainings that I've been on, everything has been, on par with what I would like to reach eventually, because I've been feeling stagnant at work and I homeschool. So I work full time and I homeschool, and things at work changed to where I need to venture somewhere else, but I can't cut those cords. So that's my main goal right there.
Kind of feeling stuck.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, cool.
And I need something that I'm going to be proud of at the end of the day. And helping people is a good thing.
I love that. That's good. Awesome. Well, Terrell, let's go to you.
All right. Well, my manager is Greg. Mr. Greg Archer.
The great Greg Archer.
And I am a security guard right now. Not the most pleasant job. Looking to leave it really, really soon. I really hate it. Okay. And my one main goal is financial freedom, honestly. That's something I've never had. So I want financial freedom, but I also want to make an impact while doing it. I want to serve families, help families in their times of need. I want to be there where it really counts. And I want to know that I'm providing a service that's actually going to help people, that's actually going to change their families' lives, Awesome. It will fill me with much felicity if I can make a big impact while obtaining financial freedom.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. You guys have pretty good clarity on why you're here. Thank you for sharing that. That's the stuff that, and we could spend this whole training just on that. I'm not going to, because I did promise you we're going to get you up and running, but not to glaze over it. But that's the important stuff right there. Why you're here. Because I'll teach you a little bit later. There's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days. We're not here to sugarcoat anything. This is business, and it does get hard sometimes. Your why is what's going to push you through. Okay. Anybody that has succeeded in anything, we see it in sports, right? The champion boxer, he doesn't get there by, just sitting on the couch and kind of waiting for things to happen. Like, they have to go hustle and they have to get beat up and they got to do some tough things. They have a dream and a vision and a why that's just much, much deeper than you can get in a classroom or online in a video or whatever. Like, it comes from deep down within. And that why is what pushes them to go back over and over and over and just keep getting beat up until they finally start, winning some championships. So that stuff that you guys just shared, I really appreciate it, because that's the good stuff right there. And I want you to hang on to that. We'll revisit it a little bit later, but I appreciate you sharing all that with me. What we're going to do today, this is the kickoff. We're going to cover just a quick progress check on where you're at, communication, how we like to communicate on our team. We're going to talk about leads, dialing, and appointments, all very important. We're going to talk about accountability, reporting, your first goal, and then what it really takes to win. We're going to take all this stuff, we're going to boil it down to something real simple so that you know what's most important and what to ignore for right now. Because if you try and pay attention to everything, you're not going to get anywhere, right? King of nothing, right? Jack of all trades, king of nothing. There's so many shiny objects in this business. It's important to focus on what matters most. And so we're going to make sure that that's all clear before we hang up. Does that sound fair enough?
Yes. Absolutely.
Good. Good. And anytime along the way, if you have any questions, all you need to do is hit that little hand thing at the bottom there. Raise your hand. I'll stop. I have a tendency to just get going. Sometimes I talk fast. I have to try and remind myself to slow down a little bit. So if I say something, you're kind of confused and I'm moving on to the next topic, slow me down by raising your hand and I'll look for it in the thing here. If that little hand gesture icon, or just wave in the camera, whatever you got to do. So we're pretty casual around here. All right. So quick progress check. Let's see how this looks. So first of all, you don't have to have E&O insurance right now, but I wouldn't wait very long. E&O errors and omissions, this covers you in case you make a mistake. So if you're a doctor starting up a practice, you're probably going to get malpractice insurance before long. And this is our version of malpractice. So not very expensive, but it also gives you carrier access to a bunch of carriers that you can't get otherwise. And it's just a necessity for doing business. So if you haven't done that yet, I encourage you not to wait too long. There are a bunch of carriers that'll start you without. So we can get started, but you probably don't want to wait too long before you get that. Review carrier contracts. Both of you started your contracts already?
Yes, mine,
Yes.
I believe, have come through.
Oh, okay. So you've already filled out the forms and you're waiting for them one by one to come back. Terrell, same thing?
I've already received mine. Yes.
Yours is good. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure mine came back as well. I have to double check.
Yeah,
they
both have good to goes.
Oh, both have good goes. Okay, awesome. That's great. So prosperity is one that comes from Greg. Greg, did you send that out by chance already?
No, because of E&O.
Oh, okay. So E&O, as soon as you get E&O, you can get prosperity and get a bunch of others. Ethos, you don't need E&O, as far as I know. Did you guys get your Ethos portals set up?
I don't believe so. No, I don't.
I'm not sure if I did or not. I know that I got that email from Jessica that said that I need to set up for leads, but
okay.
I haven't.
Go ahead if you want. I'll send you the email on how to log in. They already have a portal for you. It's just waiting for you to open it up. So Ethos, if you want to send me, put in there your email in the link, and I'll send this to you. And it's just the instructions on how to log in. So
if you want to shoot that to me, Matthew, that'll be fine.
I'll put you on there too. Yep. You got it. Let's see, where'd it go? Oh, okay. Hold on one second. Okay. Ethos, there we go. Greg Archer. And then, okay. Terrell, I got yours. And then Rose, I'll wait another minute for you if you want to put yours in. I'll add that on there as well. Okay. So with Ethos is a tech platform. They're not a carrier. So they're just getting people through the process and making it real easy for people to sign up for life insurance. People can self-enroll. The credit goes to you. You get the full commission. They build out a landing page for you, and you can just share it with folks. Okay. Super easy way to get started. Oh, I got Rose. Okay. Perfect. Sending these now. So sometime by, tonight or tomorrow, go ahead if you would and fill that out and register and you'll get it in. Okay. Communication. Very important, right? Any team, very important that we communicate. And this is our portal right here. It's this little, it's the Telegram is what it's called. Is everybody downloaded Telegram and are you in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have it, but I don't.
Okay. This is where we have announcements, we have team call links, we share thoughts, we network, we get to meet other people, and we report and celebrate our wins. Okay, so this is where everything happens. If you're missing out on things, it's likely that it's been posted in Telegram. So that's where we'll probably tell you, just go check Telegram. It's probably in there. So you definitely want to keep your notifications turned on and stay active. We actually like new agents to chime in and speak up. You know, we want to hear what you're going through. So if you're struggling or something, it can be a personal thing, go right to your manager. But if you kind of want to pull the team and ask them about something, Telegram's a great place to get a lot of feedback. One app that I use on my team, Greg, I don't know if you use this or not, but Voxer is a way that you can just leave messages with people, especially for training. Just tell them about your day. If it's not urgent, I encourage my agents to Voxer me. If it's urgent, then I want them either texting or calling. So that helps separate and helps me keep my day in order. And it also, helps with the agents, so they can listen to my, when I reply, I leave a Voxer and they can listen to it over and over if it's coaching. So those are the two main platforms or apps that I use. They're both free, but for sure we want everybody on Telegram if you haven't already. So first item of business is download those, connect with us, and turn your notifications on with them. Education. Okay. This is the second phase, I guess, of communication, but we have team calls Mondays and Fridays. Okay. Mondays are trainings and Fridays are coaching. So tomorrow morning it's a coaching call. So if you haven't yet, put those on your calendar as staples. If you're on a football team and the coach says practice is at 3:00, you don't get to pick and choose. You don't say, well, I'll come to practice if I feel like it or whatever. This is practice. Our coaching calls, that's our team practice. So everybody that's a leader is going to be there. There's exceptions, I'm sure, if your mom's in the hospital, if you got a family emergency or something, but that's why we have the replays. But you really want to try and be there live to participate, to give, but also to ask questions and get coached, because that's where the value is. But in addition, there's all kinds of podcasts on the market. I listen to a bunch. I'm always feeding myself. I've learned to turn off the radio and I turn on some kind of education everywhere I'm going. You can get that from Facebook groups. You can get it from YouTube videos. So just kind of get in the habit of learning. Anytime you have downtime, have something good going in your head. Okay. A lot of motivational stuff. There's business stuff. There's a lot to learn here because you're an entrepreneur, but you're also a life insurance agent. So, we got another person coming in. Let's see. Hold on. I just got a notice. Sorry about that. Let's see. I don't see anybody in the waiting room. Yeah, I'll keep looking, but I don't see anybody in the waiting room. Here, Greg, you know what? I'm going to make you a co-host and you can watch that for me. Is that okay? Because I don't see Alyssa there, but if you see her, let her in. Okay. So my assignment here, and you're going to get a summation of all these, so you don't have to take notes, but add the weekly coaching calls, put them on your calendar. So don't schedule over them. You want to run your appointments around them. If you're working, catch the replay. But if you're, when I was working, I would have it on in the background, whatever I'm doing. I just plug in by audio so that I'm staying plugged into the team, because you want to know what's up, what's going on with the team. And on those coaching calls, those weekly calls, that's where it's going to happen. So plug in. Let's talk about leads. So when you get started, you have to get in front of people. Now, there's a few ways you can do it. You can get in front of people by buying leads or just talking to friends and family. But however you do it, you got to get in front of people to sell life insurance, right? So leads are the lifeblood of your business. When I say a lead, that can be anybody. It can be from your network. It can be somebody you just met at the grocery store. More than likely, though, it's a lead that you purchase. When you're starting out, most of us start out by purchasing leads. The reason for that is because it's a shortcut to be able to write a policy. It gets you with someone looking for life insurance, puts you together, and gives you a chance to write a policy, right? So you definitely want to be promoting yourself, but don't be hesitant to purchase leads. Now, when you're purchasing leads, you're going to find out that there is no perfect lead system. Okay, that's the first thing. Don't expect all the leads to close. Don't expect them all to show up. There's going to be good and bad. You're going to have good batches and bad batches. Kind of like a deck of baseball cards. When I was a kid, I collected baseball cards. I was always looking for those 2 or 3, rookie cards, Jose Canseco in my era or whatever. And the rest of the cards were just kind of throwaways. So you buy a batch of leads, there's going to be a handful of appointments in there, but then there's going to be a bunch of throwaways as well. So manage your expectations. You got to get through them all to figure out who's who. But see leads as an investment. It's not an expense. It'll drive you nuts if you see it as an expense. Here's how people think when they see it as an expense. Man, I just spent $20 and I made a 5-second phone call. They hung up on me and told me to never call back. I might as well have just taken that $20, go around the corner, go into the bathroom and flush it down the toilet, right? Because you're seeing it as an expense, a cost. Instead, seeing it as an investment. That's a bigger picture. It's a different mindset. And you're thinking more like an entrepreneur when you do that, because leads are your lifeblood. Okay. And there's going to be good and bad, but the cool thing is you only need a few that write a policy to pay for all the ones that didn't. So don't nickel and dime yourself, and don't get caught up on all the no's. Just follow the system. I'll show you what the plan is here towards the end, but follow the plan. And don't worry about, set your budget, but then don't worry about every single lead and, flushing $20 down the toilet if that happens, because it's happened to every one of us. But there's also, the reason I'm here is because it's profitable, because we do write policies and we make a lot of money on the ones we write. So don't overlook friends and family. They're free leads. They're a great way to practice. You can do a bunch of practice appointments and work your bugs out. Absolutely no cost. You just got to, win them over with some good graces. So see if they'd be willing to give you 10 minutes and practice appointments. But bottom line, you got to put yourself in a position to win. And here's what I mean by that. This gentleman, you might recognize him as Reggie Jackson. Now, the cool thing about Reggie Jackson, he was a Hall of Famer in 1993. He had a batting average, 262. He was 14th, I think today in MLB stats, 14th in home runs. Okay. Heck of a career, I would say. But guess what else we know about Reggie Jackson? He also leads. He has the world record for strikeouts, 2,597 swing and a miss. 2,597 times, actually, he stepped up to the plate and struck out. So he's the number 1 at the top of the list. A statistic none of us would really want, because you would think, well, that's the biggest loser, right? But then how is he a Hall of Famer? He's a Hall of Famer, and he's 14th in home runs overall, but yet he leads the world record in strikeouts. So the reason for that is he's not afraid to swing the bat. And that's the message that new agents need to really embrace, is every lead is an opportunity for you to swing the bat. So don't be afraid of striking out. Just like Reggie Jackson, you're going to have strikeouts, but you know what? He just kept swinging and swinging and swinging. Hall of Famer, a heck of a career. So there's a really good lesson for us. The more you do, the bigger the activity, the more you're gonna put yourself in a position to win. So, all right, it's very simple. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because it's self-explanatory. But when you go into a lead order, lead campaign, you can purchase leads here on Lead Center. You get life leads. You can go internet or direct mail or whatever. You want to strategize with your manager on what the best approach is, on what leads to get, what your budget is. But you can go up here in the corner and click campaigns, and you can set up a standing lead order where they'll send you so much, as many leads as they can up to your budget every single week. So you're putting your leads on autopilot. All right. So I encourage you to do that. If you scroll down, you can see all the different types of leads we have. They have some where they mention the beneficiary. You've got leads in the bottom leads here. They're anywhere from 0 to 2 days old, all the way to, a couple of years old. What's not on here are ethos leads that you can get, mortgage protection leads. There's all kinds of different leads that we can get. So don't overwhelm yourself. Get a strategy. Pick one thing and get really good at that. Okay, and then expand. Don't try and do everything all at once. Okay. So first on the checklist, get I'd say anywhere from 500 to 1,000. Maybe that's for your first month. If you've got it to buy a nice big size batch of leads, go all in on a nice size batch of leads. Again, you're putting yourself in a position to win. Each time you write a policy, your average commission is going to be $500. So if you spend $500 and you have, 50 leads, you're thinking like a business owner. You're thinking to yourself, what are my odds of at least writing one policy on 50 leads? That's my break even. So don't be afraid of the bigger investment into leads, because you're really putting yourself in a position to win. Again, more swings at the bat, right? The averages always work themselves out if you play them. Okay, Alyssa, welcome in, by the way. I see you joined us. Good to see you.
Yeah,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. You missed some good stuff a little bit ago, but we are recording this. So we'll give you the recording. You can go back and pick up what you missed. But we're talking now about dialing. So you're just coming in at a really good time, because we're going to go over the meat here coming up. But dialing is the principle of dialing is you're just reaching out. You're having a conversation with somebody. Okay. A lot of people starting out are really afraid of the phone. They get the jitters, they get nervous. Has anybody felt this? Like, oh, I got to dial. I don't know, apprehension. The reason why you feel afraid is because you're trying to sell something and you're worried that what if I don't? But what did I just say over and over? Me, I, right? If you learn to just try and help people, it'll calm your nerves, because you're just there to serve. I'm literally calling to see how I can possibly help somebody, whoever that is. And I'm actually looking for ways outside of life insurance sometimes to help somebody. I'll make a connection if we're talking about something, but I know somebody that could help you, and we're talking about, I don't know, something on their car or something. When I did face-to-face appointments, I helped a lady with her cabinets. I helped somebody move in his furniture. I was just there to help, and I was never nervous. In the early days I was, but when I learned, when it's all about me and I'm trying to make a sale, that's what creates the nerves. When it's all about them and I'm just trying to help, then I'm much more calm. Okay. Because you don't have anything to lose at that point. When it's on you, you got something to lose, the sale, right? So when it comes to dialing, there's a script, but we're not robots. So don't memorize the script, learn it, and then use your words to say it the way that it's intended to be said. So don't rewrite it, okay? Keep it intact, but relax it and make it your own, because then it'll feel natural when you're talking. So it's okay to not be polished. I pause. Sometimes they say or I'm not presenting on Toastmaster stage, okay? I'm just calling someone to try and schedule an appointment. So don't overthink it. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Relax, take a deep breath. And here's the thing, lower and slower than you think. Okay. You want to slow down your tone, and you want to talk lower, in a lower tone than you think. Salespeople get all excited and they go high pitched. Like, hey, features and benefits, and hey, we're having a sale. You got to buy this now. That triggers sales resistance. Nobody likes to be sold, but everybody likes to buy. Have you all noticed? We're consumers, right? We do it all the time. We love buying, but we don't like to be sold. So when you get excited, and that excitement could come from your nerves, you're going to come across as a salesperson, and that's going to trigger resistance. And you're going to hear this a lot. No, maybe later. I'll think about it. We'll get back to you. Send me some information, and we'll call you back when we're ready, because that's their polite way of saying no. Okay. So slow down, take a deep breath, and talk slower and lower than you think, and you'll see a huge change. Objections, you're going to get them. Everybody has objections. We're in a skeptical world, right? Everything, as we said, everything is no problem. Like when somebody gives an objection, it's no problem. Okay, that's how we start the response, the objection. This came from Rob Jones. I don't know where he got it from, but it seems to work. Rob Jones is one of the most successful life insurance agents in the market. So he teaches, this is where I got it from, no problem. Okay. Everybody thinks if I give you an objection, that's going to shut you down and make you go away. That's why people give objections. They don't want to be sold, so they want to get rid of you. Well, I just got some. Well, I changed my mind. Well, I don't think I need this. Well, that's probably too expensive, right? Those are all objections. You're going to hear, there's probably 5 or 10, and you're going to hear them over and over and over. All you have to do is say, no, you know what? That's no problem. Okay. That's how I start. It's no problem. My job is just to get you this information. Okay. And you can decide what you want to do with it. If it looks good, great. If it doesn't, no big deal. We're just here to do that. I need about 10 minutes with you. What time do you get off of work? See how easy I made that? Like, oh, that's not a problem. It might work. It might not. I'm not here to try and twist their arm. If they feel that pressure, used car alert, beep, 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 right? They're going to they're going to hang up on you, or they're going to close the door if you're on their porch. So everything's no problem. Everything's relaxed. Like, no, not a big deal. I treat it like everybody says that. You're not the first one and you won't be the last. Everybody just got something. Yep, that's perfectly normal. And then I just go, but it doesn't stop us from having an appointment. Okay. So yeah, that's not a problem. And it may not work. We'll find out. It takes us about 10 minutes. And if I can help you, I will. If I can't, I'll be on my way. What time y'all off of work? Can we do it at 4? You said you're off at 4. So how about 4:30? I could probably squeeze you in around 4:30 or 5, if that would work for you. See, I just went right into my script. That's it. And don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. We're just trying to have a conversation to see if we can help. Remember, it goes back to that. I want to be a helper. I want to be a server, not a salesperson. Okay. It's not about me. It's about them. Don't forget that. Okay. The goal of a dial is to get someone to answer. So what I like to teach, some people teach triple dial. I like to teach double dial plus a text. So it's a triple outreach, but it's a 2-in-1. When the reason I do that is because I'm trying to get a response. So I dial, they don't answer. I don't leave a message because they don't know me, and no one ever listens or follows up with their messages. Just doesn't happen anymore. Maybe if we were in the 80s, people still used to do that, but today it doesn't happen. So we don't leave voicemails unless they know who I am. Obviously, clients and so forth, if I talk to them or I've scheduled, I'm going to leave a voicemail because they know who I am. But if they don't, I don't leave a voicemail. So I'll dial, they don't answer, I dial again, back to back, and they still don't answer. Then I text, and the text message says, "Is this John?" That's it. Hey, is this? I just want to make sure I got the right number first, right? I'm not going to make any assumptions. John, hey, this is Matthew. I'm your life insurance agent, blah, blah, blah. I need to set an appointment, try and save you some money, blah, blah. I'm not going to do that to him. We just met. He doesn't even know who I am yet. We technically haven't met. I want to just start with, hey, is this John? Very soft approach. And it's easy for him to answer now. Yes, this is John, or what most people say, who is this? Right? Then we started a conversation. Now I can keep the conversation going. Yeah, John, this is me, and I'll call them when they respond. I give them a call. A lot of times they pick up then. If not, then I'll leave a voicemail. Yeah, sorry, we're playing a little bit of phone tag, just trying to get in touch with you about something. Hey, give me a call right back when you got a chance. Friendly neighbor, what would a buddy say if he was calling you? That type of a thing. So the goal of a chat, when you do get them on the phone, is to book the appointment. Not to answer their questions, not to explain life insurance, not to run quotes. Okay. We're just going to the appointment. So if they start asking questions, they're going to try and pull you down a rabbit hole. You don't want to go there. Remember, you're in charge. You're the agent. You're the one with the license. Don't let them lead. You want to be the leader, but you want to do it in a kind way. So if they start asking a lot of questions, I'll say, you know what? That's a great question. If I could make sure you remember to ask me that on Friday when we have our appointment. I can't get into it here, but Friday, I definitely want to make sure you understand that. So this is, you said 5:30. Is that a good time for y'all? I'm going to put you on my calendar. See, I just changed the topic, right? And I'm confirming. So I addressed it, but I didn't answer. I said, Friday's when we're going to answer that, not today. So the goal of a chat, it's always to the appointment. So if they say an objection, no problem. Yep, I'm just here to go over your options. What time? Do you see you got home at 4 o'clock? What if we came by at 4:30 or 5? Would that work for you? See, I go right from the objection. I just flow it right to the calendar. 4:35. I'm trying to fill a slot. That's my only goal. Once you do, you want to firm it up. Grab a pencil, write this down. Okay. Anything that's going to interrupt to, possibly make it so you can't pick up when I call. Or if you're going to the door, you want to ask about the house. I'm going to be driving a Honda Civic, just so you know when I pull up. Is your number on your mailbox? Is it on the door? I don't need to know that stuff. The reason we ask those questions is to firm up the appointment. Okay. If you're just 30 seconds on and off the phone, 30 seconds later, they've already forgotten about you. But if you spend a little time with them, painting the picture, I'm going to be pulling up here. It's going to be about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Your house it's blue. It's a blue house. Okay. Got it. And you're going into some of those details. All you're doing is firming it up in their mind so that they're establishing a little bit of a rapport with you, and they're less likely to forget the appointment because you spent some time around it. Okay. That's how our brains work. You're solidifying it in their mind. So that's how you book and firm up an appointment. and all these are in the scripts. That's why I'm not going over it with you in detail like that. But Saturday morning dial sessions, great time to learn to practice your dialing. We all get together on Zoom and we listen to people dial. We critique, we give feedback, right? Positive feedback, and we coach. And I encourage you to step out of your comfort zone, come into the spotlight, go live and dial. Listen to a few, do some of your own, and let us coach you. You're going to learn so much faster than just by listening. You got to do it and then get coached, and you'll get good at it. I promise. But Saturday morning dial sessions are gold. You've got to put those on your calendar and join whenever we have one. So challenge at the bottom there. Next item, record your first few appointments or conversations rather, and email them to your mentor. Okay. We want to hear what you're saying. We want to hear how you're saying it, so that we can help make corrections. If you're trying to be quiet and secretive and keep it all to yourself and you're struggling and we don't hear what you're doing, how do we give feedback, right? I mean, we can role play, but role play is not the real deal. So record yourself and develop a little tough skin. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, because you're going to accelerate your learning curve. Okay, this is all about helping you get better. So we're going to set our egos aside, right? And we're just going to do it. And it might be awful, but your manager's not going to laugh at you. He's going to help you get better. Okay. So please do that. It's uncomfortable, but it will help you more than anything. Okay. Let's talk about setting appointments. Any questions? Anybody, feel free to chime in, but otherwise I'm going to keep going here. Set appointments. I don't know if you know this, but you can write a policy on yourself and you can make a commission of that. And that's the first place any of us should start. Most of us, I'd say half of us don't have insurance, and most of those that do don't have enough. So when I got in, I've written, I don't know, 3-4 policies on myself and 2 or 3 on my wife, right? I get a commission every time, which is really cool. But I realized more and more as I educated myself in this field, I don't have enough, and most of us don't. So write a policy on yourself. It's a good practice. You'll get a commission. Write a policy on family members, parents, siblings, cousins, aunts and uncles, and whatever. You don't have to be that guy at Thanksgiving dinner that goes around schmoozing tables. Hey, you have life insurance? We're not asking you to do that. But you can reach out and say, hey, I just got my license and I'm practicing. I wondered if you'd give me 10 minutes to practice these darn calculators. They're really a challenge to learn. Would you mind letting me practice just so I can work out the bugs? I'm not asking you to buy anything. Don't buy anything. I just want to practice on you. Is that okay? Right? You're going to have a good handful of people. I'm sure there's family that loves you enough that would say yes. So, and if you get in front of enough people, you'll probably write some policies too on accident, because people will be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, you got better rates than I do. Maybe I should go with that. Or, if you lead with that, you're going to be salesy. But if you lead with, you know what, I'm just trying to practice. Would you do me a favor? Just listen and let me work out some bugs. Oh, and we discover on accident that, hey, you need a policy. Yeah, sure, I can help you with that, right? You'll come across some. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be a secret agent. Let the interwebs know. Let social media know. Post about it. And warm market after that. You can make commissions on all these. I encourage you to take 10 or 15 appointments, sell family, warm market, people that you know, and then take those commissions and you can fund your lead flow with that. So challenge, next action item, reach out to 10 or 15 friends, get them on your calendar. Try and do this in a week, your very first week, maybe 2 if you're part-time, but use those practice appointments to get all the bugs worked out. So when you start working leads, you're feeling much better about things and you're really confident about pulling up an application, running a calculator, logging in when a client says yes. Do that in front of a cousin instead of in front of a prospect. So anyways, that's a great way to get started. So let's talk about the actual appointment itself. First of all, you can go face-to-face, okay? And I encourage everybody starting out to do face-to-face as much as you can. If you're in a really small rural area and there just are absolutely no leads around you, then you kind of have to go virtual. But I can tell you from experience, you're going to have better success going face-to-face starting out at least a little bit before getting in the home, or getting in the home before going on virtual. If and when you're ready to do virtual, do Zoom and Whereby as much as you can so people can at least see your face. The reason for that is it's a lot easier to build rapport with people on a handshake, sitting across the table, or even on a screen like we are now. than it is to do it over the phone. Now, everybody likes the idea of phone sales. It's shiny object. It's super convenient. You just pick up the phone call, make a sale, hang up, make a lot of money. Sounds like the dream life, right? Well, face-to-face and virtual, less convenient, but guess what? A lot more effective, because we are in the relationship business. So don't be afraid to go out there and hit the road a little bit, especially at first. Okay, when you do get in front of someone, okay, you're going to pull out this sheet of paper or one like it. There's several forms. Equus has one. This is the one that I use with my team, and it's on the training. You can download it along with all the other downloads, but this is comprehensive. It's got everything in there. And if you do nothing else and you know nothing else about an appointment, just answer all these questions and go down the form, and you'll pretty much follow the flow. So at the top, you've got his and hers name, John and Mary, birthday, age, height, weight, email, phone, et cetera, et cetera. Now, as you start, whether it's an ethos lead, a mortgage protection lead, a final expense lead, nobody buys life insurance just because it's fun or because they have extra money and they don't know where else to stick it, right? So that just doesn't happen. They have a purpose. They have a reason for wanting to buy life insurance. And that is the main objective. And I want you to write that right in here. So when you send this to your manager, they know what the main purpose for this whole conversation even is. If it's a mortgage protection appointment, probably it's to pay off the mortgage if they die. That's pretty common. That's why they do it. But I still encourage my agents, go through the motion, ask them, get them to say it. Okay. We don't want to ever assume we know their why. Okay. When you guys first came on, I asked you your why, your OMG, right? You can do the same for your clients. What is their main reason for wanting life insurance? And if you can't get clear on that, just keep asking. Reword it a few different ways. But you got to get clear on why they filled out the form, why they sent something in, why they made a phone call, why they did any of that, because it ain't fun. And it's not just because they wanted another document. There's a reason. And that reason is going to have emotion attached to it. So you need to stir that up a little bit because they need to feel that. If I pass away, my wife, Mary, she's not going to be able to, she doesn't make an income. She's a stay-at-home mom. Or my daughter, my adult daughter that lives here in the home, she's disabled. She's not going to be able to pay the home. She gets disability income. And if I pass away, I'm the breadwinner. I mean, you're going to hear the stories, but you have to ask. Okay, don't make any assumptions. So this right here is the heart of your appointment. If there's one thing to get good at, it's that. Because once you've got that and you're clear on that, everything else flows off of it. And you can refer back. Now, our whole goal is to protect little Johnny if something happens to you, or to protect so-and-so. And we want to be 100% clear on that. So here we go through the numbers. All right. Mortgage, equity, if they have a mortgage, occupation, income sources, total household income, just fill in the boxes. Now, right here, future income, that's if a spouse passed away, how much income is left? What does that do to your household income, right? If a spouse passes away. So Mary, if you're gone, if something happens, you didn't make it home from work tonight, what is the household income that John's going to be left with? John, if you get hit by a bus on your way home, Mary, what is she going to be left with on a monthly basis? So just whatever questions you got to ask to calculate those out, that's where they're going to feel, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm $3,000 a month. Well, I can't even barely make the mortgage payment with that, let alone buy food and pay the electric bill. And, that stuff will surface on its own. This whole discussion right here is the meat of the appointment. Okay. Now that we know the problem, we're going to ask about the solution. What kind of coverage do you already have in place to help with this? And if we can't get coverage tonight, heaven forbid, let's hope we can. But if we can't, you see what I just did right there? If by chance we can't get coverage, I'm kind of hinting that we're going to be applying for coverage. Did I not? So if we happen to not be able to get coverage, what other assets do you have that can help with this? Oh, I've got a 401k. I've got stocks. All right, awesome. Check, check, check. We're just checking boxes. Not asking a lot about that right now because we want to stay focused on the appointment. What other debts do you have? Car loans, student cards, credit cards, whatever. Got it. Perfect. So we want to get a clear picture of their whole financial snapshot so that we can have that moment where I can say, John, Mary, I can see why you filled that form out. I can see why we're talking. Okay. Now I'm going to see if I can help you. I can't make guarantees, but I'm going to do my best. I'm a broker. I work with about X number of carriers. Okay. And in order for me to see where I can get you the best pricing, the best coverage, I just have to ask you some medical questions. Is that all right? Perfect. And I'm going to bring them right along just like that. Okay, so let me ask you, do either of you use tobacco? And I'm going to go into the medical stuff. What medications do you take, and what conditions is that medication treated for? So if a doctor prescribes something, it's for a diagnosis of some kind. So you want to list out the medication, and then next to it, what it's treating you for. Okay. It's lisinopril for high blood pressure. It's metformin for diabetes, right? So side by side, all the way down. If someone is not taking anything and never had anything, that's awesome. I just put a big slash through it. But ask all these questions down here at the bottom. If they're younger, ask about DUIs, ask about probation, ask about, some of the things that younger people get in. They're always healthy, but sometimes they have driving record problems. But if they're older, you want to list, and sometimes this isn't enough space. They've got 21 medications. Got to find another piece of paper, but you want a clear snapshot to be able to send your manager so that that person can start going to work for you before you quote. Okay. Very important. Soon as this is filled out, take a picture, send it to your manager. If you're in the home, get them on the phone, put them on speakerphone, let them help you on the appointment. If you're on a virtual appointment, you might not be able to three-way in, but you can take a picture and you can text back and forth while you're working with your prospect, okay? So you're not going to understand underwriting that well at first. That's okay. That's why you bring in a manager. Not to quote yet. You need them to give you, even if they're qualified, if they would even qualify. If so, what? And which products, which carrier? Then we look at pricing. Okay. Only then do we shop around and try and get the best price. So these are your underwriting guides. They're downloadable in the training. You're going to reference these while your manager's working behind the scenes. You're going to start trying to figure it out yourself. Why? Because you want to get good at this too, right? You don't want to have to rely on your manager forever. So you're going to start, writing stuff down and acting like you know what you're doing. So yeah, alcoholism. Okay. And you're just kind of talking it out loud to yourself. Okay. Tell me a little bit more about that. Give your manager 3 or 4 or 5 minutes to do his job. You can't expect him just to, you should do this right away, but give him a little time, and you can start looking through these and asking additional questions. Okay. You want to download these, put them in a binder, in plastic sleeves, keep them next to you or in your bag so you can pull it out in the home. Even more valuable nowadays is this online toolkit where you can go to the quoter tab right up here in the corner. You can enter in all this information. In this case, blood pressure, losartan, she's on levothyroxine, it's a 45-year-old female, et cetera, right? As you fill that out, it's going to ask you questions that you can then just turn and ask your prospect questions. Like, when was it? Like, has it ever escalated? Has she ever been hospitalized because of it? How many years has she had it? Or are there more than 3 medications? Things like that you wouldn't even know to ask. The system will ask you, okay? Meanwhile, your manager's going to work, and you should get a message back, Forrester Strong Foundation or Royal Neighbors or Transamerica or, American Amicable, one of these, and they're going to give you a name and a product to then go in and quote. Well, if you scroll down, you should see something very similar here. And that's how you know you're getting better at underwriting, is your answers are coming together you're on the same page. So now we know Forrester's quote these are the ones that qualify based on underwriting. So now we can go to price. We can say Forrester's giving us our best price, because everyone likes to know that we're shopping around so they don't have to. Okay, that's an important point to make, because otherwise they're going to feel the need to go down the street and just make sure they're getting the best rates. But I tell them, I'm taking that off your plate. I'm going to shop it around for you, and we can do this really quick. So I'm here to make their life easy. So Forrester's your best price. In this case, you hit that compare button right there. Okay. And it pulls up this screen. I'm going to run 3 quotes, low, medium, and high, depending on what we've talked about. Again, going back to that clarity of why they want it, what they want, and what it's intended to do. We know the amount, if it's term or whole or whatever the strategy is. We're going to pick 3, and then we're going to compare quotes. And if it's 20 years, in this case, you can, change the term length here. And you've got 59, 86, 131, which one feels best in your budget. This right here, if you watched my call with Bill Martin yesterday, you heard me talking about this. I did this kind of a thing. If you have this, they're up here. A sale is here. When you start with somebody, you're way down here. And what you're doing throughout the appointment is just slowly bringing them along. When you get to this point, you should be right here. So when they say yes, it's just a little boop, just like that. That's it. One of the biggest mistakes new agents make is they get all excited because if I show them pricing, they're going to want to buy, and then I make a sale, right? Again, back to me. There we go again. It's not about me. It's about them. So they get in, they rush through the presentation, and they show a price. Look at how great this price is. Well, you got to for them to make that decision, that's a big jump. It's not a little boop, right? So you want to bring them along all through the presentation. And I do that with simple questions. Are we on the same page? How's this sounding so far? Is this looking good to you guys? Does this feel like the coverage that would be important for you guys to have? Are we okay so far? Does this look good? Right? That's it. Just little by little, step by step, I'm bringing them along with those little mini yeses. When I get to the end where I'm asking for the sale, they're already right here, and it's just boop. I'm just pushing them over the finish line. That's it. Okay. If you're getting a lot of resistance here at the end, you're not doing nearly enough work at the beginning part of your presentation, and you really need to work on that part. So this part is really seamless and simple if you've done a good job up until now. You click eApp, you go in, you take the application, okay? And that button takes you right to Foresters or Transamerica, whichever one. So you want to make sure when you get those approvals, and you've all gotten those, that you're saving your username and passwords, you're bookmarking all of your carriers, and that you're keeping all that organized, so that when you go to make the sale, you're not tripping up, resetting your password, trying to find, how do I get to my Foresters login? That's not the right time to be doing that. So be organized so that when they say yes, you just go right into the e-application. Okay. Flip the paper over, and on the back of the sheet is this, where you can write down those quotes. If you're a face-to-face person, even if you're not, I write them down for my records, and then I circle the one that they want. And then, you can make notes up here, follow-up notes. Then very important questions right here. In the last 5 years or so, have you changed jobs? Okay. I'm going to say, I'll say, we got the appointment, we got it in, we got the application in. Great. Before I let you go, let me ask you 2 more questions. Before I let you go, have you changed jobs in the last 5 years? Or do you have an old 401k you're not actively contributing to? And then secondly, if there was a program that could help you pay off your debts, including your mortgage, in half the time or sooner without changing your budget, would you be interested in looking at the math? Okay, I'm setting myself up for a debt-free referral appointment. A lot of people will freak out at $60 a month for a life insurance policy, but they got no problem paying $1,000 a month into a debt-free policy. They're both life insurance products. Makes no difference to me. I get a commission either way. But if you don't ask this question, you're going to miss out on a large portion of the people that you meet with that would totally love to pay off their debts in half the time without changing their budget. You don't have to know how to do it. You just have to know where to go to set them up on the calendar. And then you sit back and you mute yourself out and you watch as a referral specialist does all the work, and they share half of the commission. Okay. Can't make it any more of a sweet deal than that. You just bring them to the table. The debt-free specialist does all the work. They sell, they follow up, they get them quote, everything. You do have to be licensed with all those carriers, contracted with all those carriers. So talk to your manager before you do this, but you definitely want to be referring, because that is a huge, huge opportunity in our industry right now, because there's so many people with debt, and they don't think of life insurance as a way to get out of debt, but there's a really cool way to do it. I'm not going to go into it here, but just know. And if they ask, say, you know what, I don't even know, but I work with people that do this all the time. Would you like to meet with one of them? That's all that's really it. You're just bird dogging. So don't even pretend to know the answers. It's okay to not have that answer. Oh, I'm the specialist with mortgage protection. This stuff is out of my league. It's, we got to get with a specialist to really help you with that. Okay. Your dashboard, you've probably all been on here. This is actually a little bit older. I think it's been modified since then. They're always making cool updates. But when you finish completing an application, you go to your dashboard and you click on this nice little blue button up here that says Submit App. Very, very important. Make it part of every application right at the end. You submit so that Equus can now track that app. And oh, by the way, they pay bonuses and promotions based on your submitted business. So if you forget to submit, you're actually hurting yourself financially, and you're missing out on some cool growth that you could be getting with bonuses and promotions. So Make sure you're submitting every application. If it's declined, if it's approved, it doesn't matter. Every application, once it's submitted, go here and report. Okay. And then it'll also let you do some cool, all of your reporting comes down here, and you can do a bunch of spreadsheets and geek out over numbers and everything. If you're good at reporting, Equus will track everything for you and create a bunch of reports like you see here with your placement, persistency. You can know your numbers. Okay. If you get a no-show, and you will inevitably get no-shows probably on a daily basis once you're full-time or in motion. Hopefully not many. If there was somebody that could solve this, they would be a multimillionaire, but to date, nobody's done it. So there will be people that just don't show up, no matter how hard you try. So here's what you do. You've got an hour blocked off on your calendar. Maybe it's 45 minutes, whatever time that is. You get on the phone and you dial. Why? Because you're new, and that's the only thing you got going for you right now is trying to schedule appointments. You don't have a book of business, okay? You don't have pending or underwriting to take care of. So you need to get on the phone and fill that hour with 2 more appointments, at least, okay? That way, you keep your momentum going, keeps your calendar booked, boosts your confidence, you feel better about yourself, keeps you productive with your Equus time, and you don't feel nearly as discouraged, okay? All very important. So if you had an appointment and they no-showed and you went and watched Netflix for that hour and then you go to bed that night, what are your thoughts about for tomorrow? You are pretty much at ground zero, probably feeling a little negative, a little discouraged. Yeah, I had an appointment today and didn't show up, and that's how my day went or whatever. But contrast that with had an appointment, didn't show up, but filled it with 2 new ones. You just doubled your opportunity moving forward. What did that do to your mindset? Man, I got 2 more now. Yeah. And you got 2 no-shows, and I got 4 more from that, right? You're going to create momentum that's unstoppable. It's when we slow down because we're discouraged because you got a no-show that starts the spiral going downhill. So avoid that by keeping your mindset like, my goal is to replace 1 with 2. That one I didn't need. They no-showed. Obviously, I'm not important for them. No problem. I'm moving on, and I'm trying to get 2 new ones that are important, okay, that do want it. Okay. And even if I don't book the 2, I feel good about myself because I used my time for productive things. So, but I got to think in an hour, you could probably schedule 2. The applications, if you come in here to carrier resources down at the bottom, you're going to see a list of all the carriers. And I love this page. I don't think it's talked about enough. If you click on that, you can go in here to a carrier, and then you can pick the product. And you can open up and you can see underwriting guides. You can see the calculators. You can go to the e-app. Here's a link to get to the e-app and product notes. Really interesting things you're going to learn over here. So you can always come on here and learn new things just by, clicking around at all the different products and then going in and seeing the underwriting guides and all the different things that they have about it. So it's a great wealth of resource for all things, all the different products that have to do with that. Okay, your first goal when you're starting out, everybody here has a good to go email. Fast forward 48 days from that email, put that on your calendar because that is the deadline for the Trailblazer Award. This is compliments of the Valdez Group. Okay, if you can get 45 in 45 days, 3 issue paid applications, not control business. That's friends and immediate friends and family. 45 days, 3 applications for at least 2,750 APV. Okay, you will get this beautiful canvas to hang on your wall. It's a one-time award. You can't get it any other time. It's just in the first 45 days. And if you do it in 30 days, you get the gold version, okay, plus $150 lead credit. So pretty cool stuff. So you want to put that on your calendar, put the date on, and really go for that. The whole purpose for that is, yeah, you get a nice little award, a little bit of, kudos and things, but some recognition, but that's not, the main reason. The main reason is to get you going. The main reason is to give you an incentive to come out of the gate swinging and just hustling from day one instead of, just taking your time. Because the people that do the best in the business usually are people that came out of the gate from day one and just started going at it. Okay. So we don't want you dragging your heels. We don't want you getting too caught up on product knowledge or learning a little bit more about how the child rider works on a whole life policy from Forrester's Financial. There's so much stuff that you could learn and not make money, But I don't think any of us are here for that purpose. I think we want to make money. We want to protect families, but we want to, financially secure our family in the process, right? So just get going. Put people on your calendar. Don't worry about all that extra knowledge. This award incentivizes you to do that. Okay, we're going to talk about accountability. One of my favorite subjects. You're going to have accountability between you and your mentor. Okay, that's why your mentor is there, to help hold you accountable to your game plan and to your goals. And you'll have regular check-ins, however you like, with Voxer or chatting, however you communicate with your mentor. You definitely want to be showing up. You want to be responsive, especially when they reach out. But there's another layer of accountability that happens when you start bringing a team on board. Because I'm going, right? And I brought John on, and John starts going. Well, what if I want to quit? What if I get one of those bad weeks and I want to quit? I'm thinking to myself, well, I kind of brought John on, maybe, and he's looking at me, maybe I shouldn't quit, right? So it keeps you committed because you got people on that are kind of looking up to you. And so you want to hold yourself accountable by making that commitment and solidifying the commitment with a team that's looking up to you now, just the way that you look up to the mentor. Now, your mentor, by the way, will lead and mentor those people. Okay, I'm not asking you to be a mentor yet, because that would be you have limited knowledge and limited experience, limited results. It's not a great combination for a mentor. Refer those people and let your mentor handle everybody. He's happy to do it, trust me. But what it does is it envelops you in this circle of accountability. And by the way, a few months down the road, when those 2-3 people start writing 2 or 3 applications a week, just like you do, guess what happens? As a team, boom, you hit 25,000. You do that 2 months in a row, and all of a sudden you're a sales manager. Why would someone want to be a sales manager? Well, you're going to get overrides. You're going to get increased comp rates. So you're going to start making more money for the same amount of work. You're going to start getting additional bonuses. Okay. And that sets you up for even more growth now, because those people can do what you do and they can say, hey, I want to be a sales manager. Pretty soon you're a regional manager. Okay. And pretty soon, and beyond. So there's no shortage of business. There's no shortage of opportunity. There's no shortage of people that need insurance. We can take all the people the market can handle. Okay. So everybody has the opportunity to build a massive agency, and we're just scratching the surface on the opportunity. So there's room for everybody. But this is the next goal after your Trailblazer Award, is you really want to get to sales manager. And that's a team volume, not yourself. Although you could do it yourself. People do it by themselves all the time. But a team volume of 25,000 APV 2 months in a row with 3 qualified unique riders, you're going to see yourself as a sales manager. Pretty cool. So my challenge here with this, or to-do item, reach out to 10 or 15 friends and invite them to join your team. Script is really simple. Hey, as you may have heard, I just got my life insurance license. I'm just doing this on the side. Just was curious. Do you ever look, or are you in a place where you're kind of looking at any kind of side hustle by chance? Or do you know anybody? I like to ask where you ask over the person that you're talking to. Now, I know you're probably really good and you probably really love your job, but do you know somebody that's looking for a little extra side hustle? Because we're growing right now and we happen to be hiring. I'm happy to help put you in touch with the manager. So the reason I did it that way is because it feels more like a traditional job outreach, right? Network marketing, which is a related business model, is, hey, I want to recruit you, I want to hire you, right? Traditional business is, I'm working at a company. My manager was talking about that they're really hiring. Now, I can't say hiring because it's not a job, but they're looking for more people. And if you want, I heard you were looking for some extra side hustle income. I can put you in touch and see if he can do anything for you, right? That's what you would hear more in a traditional corporate environment. So fewer red flags, okay? And then just make an introduction, okay? And let your manager help out. So reach out to 10 or 15 friends. Hey, what's the worst they can say? No, I'm not looking, but I'll probably thank you for thinking of them, right? By the way, at the end of every appointment, another great question. Did you hear what I just, this presentation that you just heard, is anything that I did with you today, was any of that difficult? No, that was easy. By now you've got a rapport because you've been on the phone with them for an hour. No, that was easy. Yeah, it looked like it was pretty. Yeah. If you're open to, or if somebody I like to kind of go over them, somebody that happens to be looking, we're bringing on new agents all the time, and just to train, because I didn't know this until I learned, and I used to be a creative director, and now this is what I do. And if you know somebody that might be looking, and sometimes you'll hear, well, I mean, what about me? I'm looking, and so you can recruit from your prospects, you can recruit from your warm market, people that you meet at the grocery store. John Kite recruits his Uber drivers. I mean, he's known for he can't keep his mouth shut. And look how big his organization is. I don't know if you've noticed, but he's one of the top leaders, got the massive, massive organization. He just always talking. You just won't shut up about it. And he's just checking interest. That's what he calls it. Would you keep your options open? If I introduce you to my manager, would you be open to listening to a little side hustle idea? However you want to phrase it. Anyways, here's what it takes to win. And I'm going to jump on my soapbox here for just a minute, because this is my little spiel on success. Okay. Right now, you're probably in a little comfort zone. I mean, you're probably just about to come out of it, by the way, because you're entering a new field, but you've been in a comfort zone because you're at your job and you're making money. I heard some of you talking a little bit ago, I heard the phrase stagnant, right? By Rose. She said the word stagnant. That caught my eye. I'm like, that's one of the words I would use to describe a comfort zone. It's a little stagnant in there, right? Because there's no airflow. It's just everything just lingers, including your paycheck. It just hangs out, right? It doesn't go up. It's just hanging out. But you're not nervous. I mean, you've been doing the job for 10, 15 years. Like, you can do it in your sleep, right? I don't get up going nervous to work. Guess what? I'm not growing. I'm not stretching. I'm not moving. And I think that's why you're here. Terrell, I heard the same type of a thing. Like, you want things where it really counts, right? You were talking about, and I love that phrase that you said, be there where it really counts. Very cool stuff, man. You don't find that in your comfort zone, though, right? You got to step out and do sometimes hard things to get those types of opportunities. So everybody's here, and you're going to have to go through something that we call a struggle, right? Struggle. No one wants it, but guess what? It's a part of journey. So you talk to anybody an athlete, anybody that's had any amount of success, it didn't just happen. You don't land on the top of the mountain. You have to climb there, and it's uncomfortable, and you're gonna get blisters on your toes, and you're gonna get thirsty, and you're gonna trip, or you're gonna twist your ankle, you're gonna wind around the mountain, maybe get lost a few times. Yeah. Greg and I both probably raising our hands the highest, right? How many appointments have we had where we're like, I can't believe I said that. Like, that was the dumbest thing. There's no way I'm making a sale here, or whatever. Like, there's going to be a struggle. And in our business, the struggle sounds like this. No, thank you. Click. Leave me alone. Click. I just got some yesterday. I don't want any. Click. That's going to create a struggle for you. And that's where we're going to know how big your why is. When we started out, we all talked about our why. There's a reason we're here. Those things don't come without a price. So through the struggle, on the other side is the victory. The problem with most agents is they don't want to struggle. They want it to be so easy that everything just lands and it looks shiny, from the outside. Hey, just make some calls and schedule some appointments and write millions of dollars and go, the beaches of the world or whatever. Well, there's a struggle involved, and you got to be willing to go through it, whether it's life insurance, whether it's real estate, whether it's a tech startup, whatever business, by the way, you're in, you have to go through a struggle. That's just a secret that I'm going to let you all in on. Success in general, sports, business, family, and home life, it all requires a struggle, also known as a sacrifice. And you have to be willing to go through that in order to get to the victory. So my only request, this is what I tell all new agents, you're going to struggle, okay? Barry Clarkson is famous for saying, the only thing I can promise you is a hard time. I love how he serves it up right. He serves it up real. He doesn't sugarcoat. I'd rather know, tell me what it takes, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't want shiny object. I don't want it to look all foo-foo and super easy, because I know that's not right. I know that's not real. So Barry Clarkson even says that. The only thing I can promise you is a hard time. So when you go through that, not if, when that happens, when you're having one of those weeks or one of those months or one of those days where you're just like, I can't even close a door, let alone a sale. I don't know what is going on. Just don't do it quietly. That's the only thing I ask. Just don't keep it to yourself. That's the time where you need to get on the phone and you need to call your mentor and make sure they're earning their overrides. What does that mean? they will spend time with you. And they'll say, not only, I went through it, here's what I did, I know what you're going through. And you get somebody that can not only been there, done that, sometimes still is there and can help you through it. Because that's really all it takes. You just got to know it's going to be okay, that you're on track, that this is normal, that you're not some anomaly that got dealt a really bad deal of leads and everyone else is succeeding while you're not, because that's how it feels sometimes, but that's not reality. So make sure when you're in that moment of struggle, you remember this conversation and you pick up the phone and you have that conversation with your mentor. Say, I'm having one of those days. Matthew told me about this when I was in onboarding. And so I'm calling you. What do I do? Okay. Any mentor would welcome a call like that 100 times over an agent that quietly keeps to himself, struggles alone, and then just disappears because it doesn't work. Okay, we would much rather hear from you so we can help you. So there we go. Now I'm stepping off my soapbox and we'll continue the training. We're going to wrap up here soon, but here's what it takes to win. This is kind of a recap. Take massive, immediate action. Okay, don't wait. Wait for nothing. The circumstances will never be perfect. If you've got family reunion, and then I'm going to start after that. Well, what does a family reunion have to do with your business? Like, don't find reasons to slow down. Just go. Give yourself 60 to 90 days of consistent effort. Okay. Don't flirt with this. Don't go. You want to go all in. So if you're giving yourself 20 hours a week because you're part-time, awesome. If you're giving yourself 10 hours a week, perfect. Beautiful. It doesn't matter the number of hours. What matters is what you do with those number of hours. So if you're a 15 hours a week, God bless you. That's awesome. Try and do 16 hours in that 15. That's where it counts. Okay. We're not going to get on when it's Equus time. We're not going to get on social media. We're not going to go on Netflix. We're not going to go to the bathroom 12 times because we're nervous about picking up the phone. We're not going to overthink things. We're just going to take massive action right there. So when it's Equus time, go all in, because this ain't a hobby. This is a business, right? Here's the next thing. People think that they don't have a boss here. You do have a boss. That's called your calendar. I'm going to show you a picture of your boss in just a second. But be consistent through good and bad, and that's your activity. Keep your head down and just go to work on your activity. Dials, phone calls, scheduling appointments, that's the stuff you can control. The outcome, which is results, right? You can't control that. How many apps you write, you can get better at it, but you can't control whether they say yes or no. You can't control whether they answer the phone or open the door. You can control how much you dial, how many leads you purchase, and how focused you are when it's Equus time. So really, really focus on your consistency with the controllables, okay? The things that you can control. And don't worry about the other stuff. It'll happen on its own. Part-time, 8 or 10 appointments a week. Full-time is going to be 20 or 30. This is what your boss looks like, all right? Now, this is an example of somebody's schedule. You can see breakfast, you got job. This is a full-timer. You've got team training calls. Remember that? Block those suckers off. This is not your time. This is 10 a.m. Eastern time, so it's an early call out here. But you're going to run your appointments. You've got church and family time, date night if you're married. Like, all the important things still exist. You still want to block them off. Okay, Equus is only a part of our lives. But when it is Equus time, it's Equus time, okay? That's my point. But if you set your schedule up intentionally, okay, you can control, and now you have a game plan. Maybe it doesn't work so well the first week or two, but now you can adjust, okay? An imperfect plan trumps no plan at all every time. So start with imperfection, be okay with it, ebb and flow, work through the bugs, get good, and settle into a schedule that works. Not only that, but I'm going to challenge you to build your calendar. When you do, no white space, right? Fill up all your calendar as much as you can. Send a snapshot to your manager. Let him know what you're up to. You want that person in your business more than anybody, because that's the person that's dedicated to helping you. So let them know what you're up to. Here's at Tuesday at 7:30, you know what I'm going to be doing because I committed to it. Right. So when he calls Tuesday at 7:30, you're prospecting, because that says that on your calendar, because your calendar is now your boss. You get to create your boss, but your calendar is your boss. So, okay, here's your homework. And just recap. These are all the little things down at the bottom. Download the Voxer, get on those coaching calls, put them on your calendar, get your first batch of leads, record some sessions, send them to your mentor, reach out to 10 or 15 friends, do practice appointments, get the underwriting guides all set, calculate your trailblazer date, 10 or 15 friends for the opportunity side, and then build out your calendar. So you feel free if you want to take a snapshot of that or whatever, so you can remember everything. But that's the nuts and bolts of it. Now, there's more. Yes, there's a ton more. But what we want to do is really boil this down to a very specific game plan that will help you know exactly what you need to do without getting overwhelmed by 27 other things that you could be doing that really aren't going to move the dial. So let me share my screen to this, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Actually, yeah, I'm going to put in the notes here in the chat room a link where every one of you can download what I'm about to show you. Oh, sorry, Terrell, I just sent it to you only. Guess everyone else wants it. Let's do that. Okay, so there's the link. Go ahead and download it. It's an Excel spreadsheet. Anyone who knows me knows that I love my spreadsheets. I love my numbers. And I'm going to show you how to use this, and you can do it yourself whenever. You don't have to do it right now, but you're going to click on this bottom tab. It says game plan. We're going to start here. And you're going to put in here how much money you want to make in the next 12 months. Okay. So I'm going to say we're going to go for the stars. We're going to want $250,000. Whoops. There we go. $250,000. We're going bold, right? We're going big or going home. I want to make $250,000 this next year in income. What do I got to do that? All right. You see that the game plan just mapped itself out. Now, these are overshooting the runway. So probably if you do less, you're still going to hit that. But I like to be conservative rather than the alternative. So I've done very conservative numbers. You can see it all calculates for you, and you can see about what you need to do per week, per month, how many appointments, how many sits, exact, all the way down to this little bottom column here, or row that says your magic number. In this case, it's 39. So I got to schedule 39 people on my calendar in a week. And I got to do that consistently, and I'll hit at least $250,000 by the end of the year of income. So I'll take that 39, and we're going to put it right over here in my magic formula. Boom. Now everything goes out, and I can see about what my weekly game plan is now moving forward. This one right here is the heart of it. That's right in the middle. On the left side is your activity leading up to your appointments. On the right side over here are the results or the outcome I was talking about earlier. That's if they say yes, if they show up. We can't control that as much. All we can control, or all we know, is there's laws of averages. So we can make some assumptions based on those laws of averages. And that's what we've done here. So you can go back in and say, all right, 250, that's way too much. There's no way. I'm a brand new person. I don't have let's do 75,000. I just want to make 75,000 a year. I think that would be good. Somebody said 500 a month, right? Who was that? Rose, was that you?
Yes.
We can do that too. So that's what, 6,000, 12,000 at the end of the year, whatever it is. So let's say 75,000. Well, you need 12 appointments a week to be able to hit that. All right, let's go over here and let's do 12. Okay, boom, everything else falls into place. There's your game plan. And guess what you're going to start doing? Every Friday, before you close shop for the weekend, 5 o'clock, you're going to take all of your numbers that you've been tick marking on a piece of paper on your desk. We all track our numbers. We're all fanatical about tracking numbers. And you're going to come over here and you're going to plug them in your spreadsheet. And if you want bonus points and extra credit, okay, if I were a teacher and I was giving out extra credit, I'm going to say, share this spreadsheet with your mentor so that both of you can look at this. When you struggle and you have that, remember that struggle I told you about? When that happens and you call up and say, Greg, help, talk me off a ledge. Greg's going to say, let's pull up your numbers. Let's see what's going on in your business. Okay. This is where we pull emotion out of the equation, and we're looking at raw data, because what's left after you pull out all the emotion is a bunch of numbers telling a story. So we can look at your numbers and go, oh, okay. So number one, hopefully he doesn't go, why is this blank? Rose, how come you haven't been putting your numbers in? Okay. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But if you've been diligent about putting your numbers in, he's going to see 3, 4, 5, 6 layers of numbers, and we're going to start seeing patterns. Okay. We're going to see the numbers tell a story. This is where it gets scientific. This is where we can say anybody can do this. Not everybody will, because yes, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to keep track of, and you have to be disciplined, but anybody can. Okay. if you can get good at tracking your numbers, Greg can then say, hey, Rose, you're dialing, you're doing really good with that. You're doing plenty of dials. Your lead flow is looking good. It doesn't look like you're talking to many people. Let's talk about that. Tell me what's going on. See, now he knows something that you guys can have a conversation about. Or he can say, you know what, you're chatting with people. You're really good at scheduling appointments. You talk to 30 people, you're scheduling 6, on older leads. That's pretty darn good. If they're brand new A leads, that's not very good, but we're going to assume these are older leads. And on those 6, you're showing 4. Actually, we're going to say 1. So you're booking 6 and only 1 showed up. And you booked 12 and 3 showed up. And you booked, 18 and 4 showed up. Then Greg's going to say, hey, your show rate is 23%, Rose. I know exactly where your problem is. And then let's go in and do some coaching on that. Let's do some role playing, because now we're going to talk about securing the appointment. When you're booking, how are we firming that up? That'll clear up that problem. Reminders if you're a virtual guy, not answering your phone if you're face-to-face. There's some tips you may not know about, but we're not going to know what the problem is if you're not filling out these numbers and sharing them with your managers. So be diligent about this. It's a business. You're a CEO, and every CEO I know looks at their numbers like a Nazi. So you got to get good at that. Okay. So that's that. And you can download this. You can, use it, play around with it, get to know your magic number, because that makes it all real simple. Because then you can wake up Monday morning and you can say, all right, I got 5 days ahead of me. I've got this, and I pull up your calendar. I've got these slots available. Okay. I've got to get 12 people, 12. Before Friday at 5 o'clock, when my head hits the pillow, or if I close up for the day, before my weekend, I need to have scheduled 12 people somewhere. Doesn't that make this business easy? Simple, I should say. Simple. Great. Where are they going to come from? I don't know. I got to buy some leads, I guess. Okay, great. Let's get some leads. Sit next to somebody in the grocery store line. Hey, are you one of my 12? You can even ask them that. You might be one of my 12. You want to get on my calendar? I'm kidding. Don't say that. That is not the right script. But you see my point. They can come from wherever. It doesn't matter. But when we see our business this way and we say, I got to get my 12, whatever it takes, I got to get my 12. Now, you might fall short. You might fail. Everybody's gone through failure, but at least now you have a game plan. At least now you have vision. You have clarity, because everything else you've kind of figured out. Okay, we've got all those books. We don't have to keep thinking about that. Now, all we have to think about is, I got to get 12 on my calendar. Not 12 that show up, just 12 scheduled. That's my magic number. Maybe it's 15, maybe it's 5. Whatever your magic number is, now you have something very easy to focus on all week long. That's what you're running for. How many dials does it take? I get this question. How many times do I have to call? I don't know. However many it takes to get your 12. Well, how many conversations do I have to have? Maybe you can do it in 12 conversations. Maybe you can do it in 100 conversations. But we can know through practice, trial and error, what you can get better at. But at the end of the day, you got to get 12. 12 is your magic number, right? So whatever your magic number is, that's your focus. Everything else is on this side, getting you to 12. And on this side, those are results that'll happen on their own. You'll make money. Okay, that'll happen. You just got to get in motion and be consistent. And don't ever forget, Friday at 5 o'clock, before you go, you tracking your numbers, because they are that important. So, okay. I think that's pretty much it. I've talked almost an hour and a half now, and I want to leave the last few minutes for you guys. If you have any questions, anything you want me to touch base on, clarify, dig a little deeper, how are we feeling?